Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Tiff Talks by Tiffany Morden. Today it's episode 4 called Love Didn't Fail Me, It Refined Me. Today we will talk about love. Not the heartbreak itself, but what it taught me along the way. Mm. So when it comes up to love, I'm I don't want to say I'm not your person for it, but I was relatively opposed to it. Like, I've been through a lot of pain and hurt platonically or not, so I was relatively against it, as I may probably touched on in my previous episodes. I don't want to say I didn't believe in love, but I didn't believe in love. But anyway, I'm not the one to love quickly, but I love deeply. So that's why when a person does something towards me that I may not like or may hurt my feelings or may consider a heartbreak, it replays over and over and over and over and over in my mind because it's like, bitch, how can you do that? How can you do that to me? So, one one thing that I've learned, right? Because one of the talking points I want to touch on today is loving deeply but learning boundaries, right? When I tend to love you platonically or not, I tend to create a safety net, right? So, no, don't do this. No, don't do that. No, don't touch that. That's hot. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. And then, you do something, I'm like, damn, that bothered me. But I'm gonna let it slide. Oh damn, that bothered me again. Oh no, I'm gonna let it slide. Oh hey, 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 that bothered me. Oh, you didn't mean it like that? Okay, I'm gonna let it slide. So it will be like a pile up and a pile up and a pile up and a pile up of things. And then, it's like you draw the line, they step over it. You be like, it's okay, I'm gonna wipe it. And then you draw the line again and they step over it again. And then you're like, I'm gonna wipe it again. And then they draw the line and then they step over it again and then you explode and then they be like, oh, but you shoulda, coulda, woulda. And it's like, bitch, but I did tell you. And it's like, but you knew you was doing. Like, I'm the type of person, people are aware of their actions. Sometimes, yes, you need to tell someone, hey, this made me feel a type of way. But the basics, it's like, nigga, you knew what you was doing. Don't play with me. So, boundaries with me, I relatively saw became a little tricky because I thought they were boundaries when they were just walls. So like if I had to cut you off, like I'm a certified leaver. Like I'm a let you drag me through the mud. So when I left or when I leave, ain't no what ifs. Ain't no what ifs then how to what when why how. So where I thought I was strong at in a sense of boundaries, I was just putting up walls. Because instead of being like, okay, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G that I don't like, and then when somebody cross it, it's like, no, this is a boundary, right? So I would just allow them to walk all over me, and then boom, wall. You need to express your emotions. You need to do that. Nope, because you did X, Y, and Z. So why would I feel comfortable? Oh, you don't care about me, blah 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 blah. But when I was caring about you, you was walking all over me. So it was just me thinking that I was standing 10 toes down when I was just blocking people out. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how that made you feel because you was just dragging me through the mud. So I want to say love did show me the lack of boundaries that I have. And love did show me that n- not being expressive and not saying, hey, that bothered me the first time. Because I know very much so well that we don't be saying shit the first time around. Let them know the first time. Because people would treat you the way you allow them to. And if you give someone an inch, they will definitely take a yard. They would definitely take a yard, especially if you're not saying nothing about it. Like, yes, you want to give people the benefit of the doubt and think they're going to be like, oh, I don't like being treated like this, so I'm not going to treat you like this, and et cetera, et cetera. No, no. Because 90% of the time they living in their own world and in their own main character and worried about their own feelings. And it's like, yes, sometimes people don't do things in expense or thinking of your feelings. However, if you want to have this friendship or this relationship or whatever ship, like, compromise and consideration needs to occur. Period, point blank, the end. The next topic is realizing heartbreak refines self worth. So I feel like now we live in an era of like a love drought, right? So I experience my fair share of heartbreaks. You know, loved ones moving away, loved ones passing away, things just not necessarily working out. And, they always come to a shock because, you as in me, I date to want to, play the long game or the end game, like if it's something that I feel like is temporary, then I'm not going to waste my time. So when it doesn't work out, it's like, damn. And you go through the morning and you go through the crying and the healing and the grieving, which I necessarily wasn't so great at because I'm a certified suppressor. Um yes, it defines self-worth, but it also teaches you what you want versus what you don't want in a relationship. Well, at least for me, right? Because you take qualities from this person and you take qualities from that person and you take qualities from that person. And what I've learned in my relationships is if I ever want to combine two men together, then none of them was for me, right? Because I'm not saying the man for me is gonna have 100% of my checklist checked off, but he would have the majority, and whatever is they're lacking, he will want to pursue or to commit or to strive towards it, right? Because a relationship is adaptable and it's compromisable. So I've learned that I need to stop allowing the other party, whether it's my friendships or not, to play the victim, right? Water down how they made me feel or how I felt just because I want to protect their feelings. And I did this and I do this contact or no contact. So it kind of like clicked in my head the other day when I was having a talk with one of my one of my friends about, relationships and stuff like that, it's just like I held most of my friendships accountable, right? Like a lot of my current friendships now, I don't want to say we fell off, but we steered in different directions of each other's life, right? Like life just took us in different directions. And some of us, are, I guess, spinning the block and rekindling and trying and, seeing where it goes. And for the most part, it's going. But we held each other accountable for what we did, and allowing ourselves to show up as who we are now and not who we were before, which I could say for myself, I do that more with my friendships than with, my significant others. Like, I sit here and say, like, oh, yeah, I forgive you, blah, 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 blah. But in the heat of a moment, and especially of the severity of the hurt that I feel, when I get mad is, nigga, you ain't shit. You did X, Y, and Z. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you and your feelings. That's why you ain't shit, blah, 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 blah. So it's like not waiting. One, not waiting until you're mad to say how you feel. Two, holding your boundaries and sticking to it and learning the difference between boundaries and walls because it's a fine line. And three, not watering down your own feelings to keep relationships in your life. Not saying that you're more of a victim or you're the victim or they're the victim. You know, sometimes both parties get hurt. Sometimes one party gets hurt more than the other, but I need to learn how to protect my own feelings. I need to stop giving grace, or I need to stop giving so much grace or all the grace to the opposite party, all the empathy, and I need to start doing it within myself. I could give you a million and one excuses. I could sit here and go around and around and around and wonder why maybe you did this because of this, or maybe you did this because of that. Because no, because if they wanted to, they would. So they wanted to and they did. If they wanted to, they would. So they wanted to and they did. If they wanted to, they would. So they wanted to, so they did. Let that sink in. We sit here and we give so many excuses. Try, and it's the brain. The brain will sit here and try to reason on why anyone did anything. Because I feel like people do it with friendships and people do it with significant others. Oh, she did it because, she was going through it, or he did it because, he's misunderstood. No. Because he ain't misunderstood when he asking for something, or she is not misunderstood when she needs something from you. So why that when you needed them to show up for you is all of a sudden misunderstood? Capacity, compromising, consideration. Things could go so far with consideration. So far. Know who you are and see the signs the first time. Let the boundaries stand the first time. They wanted to and they did. Times I loved without losing myself. Who child? I could say maybe recently. recently, I stood 10 toes down no matter how badly I may wanted it to work and how badly, you get the taste of something and you see what it could look like. But you just sit there, and when you actually wake up from your delulu, you realize that it's a version of what you want, not what you hope for. And you need to ask yourself the hard question of, is that enough? Is a version of what you want enough to satisfy your life than the full version of what you intended it to be? Is that enough? For me, it wasn't. So I had to walk away. And I know with what people who know me might say, like, girl, it's easy for you to walk away. Like, you strong, you this, you that. Fuck no. Like, me walking away from friendships and relationship, it's probably one of the hardest things that I ever encounter or have to do ever. It's like the last option that I ever want to take. But I don't tolerate disrespect. I just don't. Like, I just can't. I won't. Especially because I know the type of person that I am, the type of provider, the type of nurturer, the type of caregiver. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to observe while you acting a fool. So you could think you won. Go ahead, big shot. Do you? Because when I leave, ain't no sunshine when she gone. That shit is hard. Hard. And it breaks, it like chips away at me. Because since I don't love easy, so when I do love, I love deeply. So when it's time for me to walk away, it's like ripping away at something. Ripping. Don't nobody want to do that. Don't nobody want to start over again. Don't nobody want to feel alone. Don't nobody want to feel like they have everything but this. And then, like I said, people put timelines on me. Pretty sure people put timelines on you. And it's like, yo, shut the fuck up, bro. Like sometimes you just need people to listen. And I want what I want. I don't want to settle. Settling is not in my vocabulary. So when you want something so bad because you don't let people in so easily and you see that shit falling out of your hands like quicksand, devastating. And I'm a fixed sign. It's hard for me to let go and to walk away because I know I can fix it. And sometimes I try to fix it, but it takes two to tango. But in the nature in me, and sometimes, mostly all the time, when you fix a situation, they lose respect. You lose the lesson out of it. So if I have to be the lesson for you, then I wish you well. Because I don't wish you the best, because the best is me, boo boo. So I wish you well. And I stand on that. So, and it was like, what's one thing that heartbreak taught you that you didn't realize until later? So, this is funny. Is this one thing that my ex said that kind of sat with me? He was like, you can't change the way you feel about somebody just because of one conversation. And he meant like one thing happens and then I'm just like, okay, I don't fuck with you no more. And at the moment, I was just like, yeah, whatever. But then when I like sat with myself, I was like, damn, I do that. And I don't only do it with significant others. I do it with like my friends too. Like I be like, oh fuck that bitch. That bitch got me tight. I don't want to fuck with her no more. I don't want to fuck with him no more. Like I'm like, damn, I need to work on that. Like you got it. Like you clocked it. So that's the one. That's the one thing I noticed. You know, until later. So I'm trying, like I said, to know the difference between boundaries and walls because I feel like because I was so used to, or I'm so used to putting up walls, it came with that. You know, like I have a disagreement or argument with somebody, and I'm like, yo, nigga, get the fuck off my phone. I don't want to talk to you no more. I don't want to deal with you no more. Like, pack it up. Next. Thank you, next. Like, so it was just like, okay, whatever. You right or whatever. But it's here to say heartbreak didn't break me, it refined me. And it allowed me to give advice and allowed me to be there for my loved ones and it allowed me to share what I went through. It allowed me to learn. So until next time, be gentle with who are you becoming.